thought it'd be so simple, but I found a way. I found a way. Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, singing some Drake and Josh over there, coming at you with my good co-host, Doctor of Stuff and Crypto Rain. Everyone say Harodashi. Harodashi. Um, we were just going over something that I don't think it was ever done for any of the VV Fidgetals. We were going over Dr. Stuff's most recent wax Fidgetal that they had. Can you bring that out again real quick?
Oh, yeah.
Let's widen this shot, baby.
So,
yeah.
Wax did the very first Harry Potter NFT in existence is unfortunately on the Wax chain, Wax blockchain. But they did this Fidgetal collaboration where you bought these packs, and then certain packs had some legendary Harry Potter cards, right? So there was Harry Potter, there's a whole set, right? So I got this is Harry Potter, but I've got Victor Crumb, right? And again, I haven't even taken it out of the plastic that has come in just to even display that, but anyways, so I've got the whole set. They're all down here. Cedric Diggory, Florida Color, or anyways. So let me show you on the back. There is what the NFT looks like. So you got this Harry Potter, and it was like a legendary.
Oh, wait. The first Harry Potter is from the Goblet of Fire? That's what they made it? Okay, that's a little strange, but all right. Sorry, keep going.
So yeah, that's the first one, and it's it's Harry Potter with Gills and Grindylow, and so that's what he's got is the Gills and the Grindylow. And yeah, this is so the reason I was so stoked on this, I showed it in my stream, but is so there's only 999 of the Harry Potters in existence in the Funko, right? But on top of that, I'm pretty dang sure that I'm the only person who actually got the uncirculated designation. And shout out to Comics and Crypto for teaching me about that, where basically, Funko or whoever, they sent the box of the NFTs. I didn't open the box. Then I just went actually at San Diego Comic-Con, and I dropped off that box. And people saw me there, and I was lugging around this massive suitcase. It's because I was carrying all those Funkos in there. In that box from the manufacturer, so I was able to get that uncirculated designation, which is it's kind of like another level of collectability that as a social flex is this is uncirculated. So yeah, that's something in the physical collecting world that is one of those designations that makes something rare even more rare potentially. So
that's something that you never opened because it came to you from the company in the box. You sent it to get graded, and it got a 8.5, even though you had never opened it.
Dude, I'm so bummed that out of all of my Funkos, the Harry Potter one got the worst grade. All of the others are 9.0. There's a couple 9.25s, and then there is one 9.5. But yeah, the Harry Potter came back. Yeah. And what can you do? But that's what they graded it, and I'll take it.
Cool. I'm surprised that for the first Harry Potter they didn't make it from the first movie. They made it from the fourth one, and it's a weird version where he takes the gillyweed so that he can breathe underwater, and it's oh man, that is I'm not. I mean, it happened. It did it. My first NFTs are on wax as well, unfortunately.
So let me clarify. So there's multiple Harry Potter NFTs in that drop, right? Mm-hmm. But the legendary that came with the Fidgetal, or that is that Harry Potter. But I think that, man, I have to go check. I gotta figure out even how to check my wax.io account.
I completely forgot any and all passwords from there.
Yeah, I don't even remember. I haven't done it. I actually got they did a Back to the Future drop as well, and that's I got the George McFly. I didn't get that. I really wanted Marty McFly one, but didn't get that. So anyways, I should look to see if that's on eBay just to collect it because I like it anyways. Because I did say like Harry Potter and some of these other Funko NFT ones on eBay, but again, they had been opened, and a lot of them weren't graded or anything. So
Yeah. Nice.
yeah, I
Rand,
don't
how
even
did
remember how to find it. I'm gonna have to do some research to figure out how to find out like how to get my wax stuff again. It might be on my phone.
You know, Wax has done a decent job at somewhat. Like they did some baseball cards and some other things, some like Street Fighter cards. However, they were one of the first blockchains that was like cheap and inexpensive to use. I don't know if they're doing enough to stay relevant in the future. Maybe. I mean, Harry Potter is big IP, so that's very helpful to them. And some of the first NFT baseball cards were on wax, which is helpful. And I still have a bunch. I haven't even looked them up in goodness 18 months. I'll look them up when when blockchain is going absolutely crazy, everything in crypto, and everyone's talking about NFTs and digital collectibles, and then I'll probably sell them. But yeah, I have a bunch of stuff on wax from 18 months, 2.5 years ago, somewhere around there. Wax, hardly hear of these days. So that drop was pretty recently, Doctor?
No, I want to say it was like last year, or like early 2024, something like that.
Okay.
Maybe January, February.
Yeah, because it would have had time for you to ship it. Did you get the Harry Potter on the drop? And so then you now, was it like random packs that you would buy or like blind box?
Yep. So it was random. It was random packs, and I'm trying to find out where this email. Let's see. So yeah, so what it was like blind box packs, and you could buy like, if I'm remembering correctly, there was like a pack that had like a smaller amount of cards, that was like a certain price, and then there's like a bigger pack that you could buy. And the crazy thing is like, I don't know if people knew like the supply. I don't remember. I feel like with wax, like you don't necessarily know the supply of the drop, but it was supposed to last like 24 hours or something. But I think that they closed the drop after like 3 hours. So like it was way smaller amount than was expected from it. And that's where I was like, I feel like this is even like even cooler, right? Like it's even more limited than I thought. Most people don't even get onto wax. So yeah, I'm trying to figure this out. So.
Yeah, like people like me weren't even aware of it.
There's so I'm looking at their Twitter page right now because again I haven't even thought of them up until this conversation in a long time. But their stuff still gets a couple thousand impressions for everything that they post. So sometimes you have people that have like, oh yeah, I have 200,000 followers, but they get like 500 impressions per post, and they don't get a lot of interaction. But they have a couple thousand each, and I guess they're still making a little bit of money. Even like a couple weeks ago, they posted like, hey, this Drop.io said like, shop It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Funko Digital Pop Series 1 on this marketplace, and it happens to be through them, and they have what we would have on for Earth 2 for our stuff. Now they're all 2D stuff, but I guess they're still making money. They still have traction. They still have people that interact with them, which I was not aware of. But are we not paying attention because that traction has dropped so significantly, or are we kind of losing our touch here? Are we kind of no longer the eye of Sauron that sees all, and some stuff passes us by?
Seeing all in the crypto space is like impossible. Yeah. I realized this last bear market. I was like, man, because I'm one person, I'm missing so many opportunities. Like, great. I mean, I hit Axie Infinity. I was in the Akomi pre-sale. Sure, I hit some good ones, but like missed a bunch of opportunities. Why? Because like crypto is really big, even in the collectible space. Like, wax. I mean, I don't personally know the team. You don't know the team, so probably we'll miss some stuff on there. There's even within the collectible space, the space itself is going to get so big over time that one person just can't keep an eye on. everything. And we're seeing that, right? Like, I didn't know about Harry Potter and Wax launch. I miss stuff all the time. Wow. Wait.
So yeah, this is like, man, this is terrible. But like, you can see Harry Potter. This is one of his one of the NFTs. This is like a common.
Oh, that's
right.
cool.
So there's different versions of the Harry Potter. So this is Stonewall, Static.
But only the legendary came with a phygital. It's like, if you get the legendary, you can get a copy mailed to you.
If you got the legendary. So look, and then some of them are like there's motions.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
Like, just like in the Harry Potter actual, like if you take pictures of something, they can move in there. That's really cool if they did that.
That's fun. I like that.
Yeah. So then they have that, like, and so like it looks like the rares. Yeah, there's all these different ones, right? That you got. But then it was the let me see if I can find it here.
I'd really like to see Vivi go that route where they have like card packs like that, because they could do animations like that. I don't know if they haven't wanted to, or they just haven't had the right license deal to go that way. But like those moving Harry Potter ones, kind of being 2D but also 3D at the same time.
Yeah, that's cool.
Blind box like is in a pack, like you get 7, you pay $20 and you get like 7 or something, like cards. That would be cool, because I like the higher res like statues and cool like pieces, but if they don't open themselves up to like collectible cards too, I think they're missing a segment.
Yeah, agreed. There's what says they need to increase Omi's taking benefits from 10 million to 1 billion. Start rewarding whales. The amount of people that have 1 billion, there are less than 20. So that really wouldn't do anything. Like they're clearly not selling anyway, so I don't think that would be a thing. But speaking of Omi, though,
they could take it up to a much bigger number in the hundreds of millions, and it would have an impact. You would have a bunch of people that only have 10 million now that would be like F, and they would go get 100 million.
So these are some of the legendaries, and then it looks like the Harry Potter is the Grail, right? Because that is the, like, all of the other ones like are out of all the other pieces have, it says 220 2200 pieces right there, whereas Harry Potter's is 999.
Yeah, and it's Harry Potter.
And it's Harry Potter, right?
Yeah, so more limited.
On that.
That is awesome. Fernando's in the chat. What's up, my brother? Fernando's my twin from another mother.
Love Fernando. Such a cool dude. Can't wait to see him.
He is a cool guy.
For those of you who made karaoke in Vegas, unforgettable night.
A couple times.
Nice place, yeah.
It was great. So, speaking of the Omi, we had a update from Binance today. It said the countdown to Binance Alpha has begun. Get ready for a new batch of tokens by preparing your assets on the corresponding chains. 3 on BNB, 1 on Solana, and 1 on Base. And it seems that what they were doing, I'll find the actual tweet for it, but I go on and I say, I mean, if you're going to list tokens that are on Base, Binance might as well list Omi. Was that you, Binance, that's been buying up the token? That was sent to me earlier today from a buddy of mine that had a, I don't know if I can find it now. But basically what it seems that they're doing is that they're wanting to list stuff that's on Base before Coinbase does. I don't know if they're doing any type of renegade listings on that, or they're just going out and they're contacting all of these tokens that are on Base. But I do know that Brett is not on it. I don't know if that's because they haven't reached out to them, or if it's because Brett doesn't want to give them the amount of tokens that Binance is likely asking for, because Binance seems to want to get between 10 and 15% of the supply. How would you guys play this? If you were Ben, or if you were part of the team, if you were advising Ben, be like, hey, listen, I know giving up the entire Ecomi business development wallet is a lot, but it's Binance. Or do you guys say like, hey, listen, there's a reason Binance is not allowed to operate in the US. They have predatory practices. Stay away. Or somewhere in between.
I think that Coinbase is a way better exchange than Binance. It is, and the thing is if there's enough traction for the token, Binance will list it anyways. So like if I am Mr. Ben Rose and I'm saying, listen, I want a big splash, I think that Coinbase is the way to go, because first of all, that means that U.S. Residents can actually buy the token. A lot of U.S. people can't like they can't do Binance, and Binance US is terrible, to be honest. And so yeah, I think that like if they get Coinbase and then there's a lot of activity on there, like a lot of other exchanges will rogue list it, and what that means is that they then have to go buy the token on the secondary to then have that trading pair. Yeah. So that's my thought.
Yeah, Binance used to be a bigger deal before they had to exclude U.S. investors, right? So I've always liked Binance since I first saw them in like mid 2017. I liked them a lot, but they had to exclude U.S. investors because of U.S. laws. I don't care what the Biden administration said about CZ. I quite like CZ a lot. Was he involved in the stuff they said he was? Maybe. If he was, so some shady people using his exchange, okay. That probably has happened to a lot of exchanges. I think.
And banks.
Yeah, and banks. But the banks don't get sent to jail ever. So why did he get sent to jail? Like, whatever. So I like Binance, but that's not the big deal because U.S. investors can't use it. The big deal is Coinbase. So like anyone who can get a Binance account can also get an MEXC or Gate.io, I think has OMI. Yeah. And so it gives you a little bit more access. That there's some people that don't have MEXC accounts that only have a Binance account. The big deal is Coinbase because it makes it wide open to U.S. investment, which is where a lot of their fan base is and where a lot of the money of their fan base is. So Coinbase is the big deal. Would Binance be okay? Yeah. Should it be a priority? I don't think so. Cool. If it comes along, is it going to pump the token? Not really. Maybe a tiny bit, but will it add a lot of trading? No. Not much, because all the people who can get it on Binance can also get on MEXC or Gate.io or something. So it doesn't broaden the horizon a lot. Coinbase does. Kraken would. These U.S. exchanges, Coinbase being the biggest one, because that's what a lot of newbies in the U.S. throw their money in. When they can easily get a Coinbase account and throw their money directly from their account into OMI, that's going to be a big deal.
Agreed. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just along these lines. This is why when I talk about regulatory clarity and all these things and these risks, right? Like crypto has been unfairly targeted. So we talk about CZ. He admitted guilt, and there's like no doubt in my mind that they definitely kind of let some shady people onto the exchange, right? They didn't do the KYC and stuff. But let me tell you, just barely this year, TD Bank, so this is October, so just 2 months ago, TD Bank was fined $3 billion for some of this same activity, right? No one went to jail. Okay, even bigger than that. Well, I think it was at the time. So in 2008, this was one of the things, but there's this thing, HSBC, and there's a whole Netflix documentary on it called Cartel Bank. And guys, so shady. People should have gone to jail. The Sinaloa drug cartel was able to launder about $880 million through this one bank, right? No one went to jail. And yet CZ goes to jail and he's got to pay all of these fines. This is what I'm talking about with the crypto world. Like anyone, if they get a target on their back, they are paying heftier penalties than anyone else for doing any of the same stuff, right? So, yeah, was he guilty? I'm pretty sure he was guilty. Did he deserve the treatment that he got compared to all of the others that did things the same or worse? I don't think so. I think he was treated unfairly in that instance.
Yeah.
So I'll agree that he was not held to the same standards or lack of standards that some of these banking cartels. Obviously, if you're giving money or allowing the money to the cartel to do you like that, to use that, yeah, you should be prosecuted. People should be in jail. But Binance's practices are pretty not good. They're fairly predatory in what they do, using a lot of manipulation, using a lot of make money. Somebody asked before, will Omi ever get on Coinbase? I mean, has there been any update on the lawsuit with Coinbase and the SEC? Or are they going to wait until the President Trump gets in and they say like, "Hey, we're backing off"?
So there's
the
no
SEC appealed the ruling that went against them. They have 1 year to appeal, and they waited right till the end of that year and then appeal just to drag things out. It really is a very anti-crypto focus. They're not trying to be fair. They don't want to be fair. They're just trying to hurt crypto for, I can only guess at the reason. I don't know the real reason. I just speculate on what the reasons are. But it's really like, how can we slow this down? How can we drag it out? How can we make it as painful and as expensive as possible? That's what they're doing. And so then when are those dates scheduled? I don't know. Hopefully Trump gets in there, puts new SEC people in charge, and, they just come to a settlement with Coinbase and be like, hey, we'll settle with you. Here's a favorable settlement. Let's just be done with this.
So do you guys think that lifts when Trump takes office and there's kind of like this new overhaul and maybe crypto is given to the CFTC and the SEC kind of drops their current lawsuits? Or do you think this continues for a bit?
The winds will change hugely. What that adds up to, we'll have to see. The first time Trump came in, he didn't change hardly any of the people like that. He just left them all in place, trying to, I'll come in. And he realized that was a big mistake, because a bunch of things got under Trump that aren't under his administration, that don't jive with what his agenda was at all. And I think he learned his lesson. So I think he's going to go in there and he's going to replace key staff in every major agency to make sure that the winds do change considerably. And hopefully in crypto, he's made that a big focus of his campaign. Better deliver on it.
Doc, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I think that there's going to be, so certain things can't be retracted initially. Once it gets into the courts, if we're waiting on a judge decision and stuff, you can't stop that, unfortunately, right? But there's a lot that the SEC can pull back on. So a lot of the Wells notices that they've issued, they can just drop that. And yeah, if things haven't proceeded, they can kind of just settle or just kind of
They can, on an appeal, can't they go in and just actually agree to a settlement with Coinbase and just say, look, you know what, we're going to pay $500,000 and we'll withdraw our appeal and it's all done.
Yeah, I'm not a legal expert, so I can't necessarily state the possibility of outcomes. I think they could do that, but the judge, I believe, and if there is a legal expert in there that knows this for sure, but I believe that a judge could still say, yeah, you're going to settle, but here's my thought on this, right? And also make a ruling tied to that settlement. Okay. And so if that ruling is in favor of one of the parties, they might actually say, well, the settlement's got to be higher. I don't know, right? The judge actually has quite a bit of authority once it's in their court as to how they want to proceed with certain things.
And the appeals level, I think, is conglomerate of 3 or more judges, depending on the appeals court.
So Slider's saying that he thinks the judge has to accept it. Maybe he does. I could be wrong on that. I'm not sure. But I guess my question is even if they accept the settlement, could the judge still make a ruling on the issue? I don't know.
Because the underlying ruling was very favorable to crypto, which ruled that, once the token launches, if it's exchanges on a secondary market, that can't be considered a security contract, which makes sense. So some exchange allowing it to be traded there does not make it, therefore, a security contract. which was like, hell yes. Oh my gosh. Judges fixing this broken, purposeful lack of clarity SEC that we have. That makes sense, you know. And then they're appealing that. And it's like, frick. Here we go again. Oh, well.
Perfect.
Gary Gensler, goodbye. You lost. Everyone hates you. Democrats don't even like you either. We are not going to miss you or Mr. Burns. Or are you really Mr. Burns?
He is universally hated on both the left and the right. So to answer your question, Raid, will Omi ever be on Coinbase? I wouldn't say anytime soon. I would say until after all this kind of gets cleared up. That might take a couple months. But you know, that's my opinion. Maybe they talk to each other and they say, well, if you do X, Y, and Z, then you should be all right. I mean, Coinbase is clearly still operating. They're clearly still listing other stuff. If VV and team, they get a list of things saying like, hey, this is fine, then maybe. But again, that seems like a lot of work. Granted, it is Coinbase, so maybe they might do it. But who knows? If you know anyone there and could introduce them, maybe we might get something out of that. Anyway, moving on here. Part of the reason why OMI was down today, or I think why the entire market was down today, the entire market got hecked. Jerome Powell says, we're not allowed to own Bitcoin, he says, in light of Trump's strategic Bitcoin reserve promise. I don't know where he gets off on that, but be advised that if it does come to push comes to shove, they could just make a new amendment. They have the House, they have the Senate. They could just kind of steamroll anything in that they want. But when he goes and says that we're not allowed to own Bitcoin, that the market kind of had a knee-jerk reaction to that. Did you guys see anything else? Any other reason why?
Well, the Federal Reserve was not created by the Constitution. The Federal Reserve doesn't have to stay in place either. So it's like all this stuff can be changed. Does the Federal Reserve need to be? The earlier video with Paul was interesting. It doesn't need to be. The market could take that place. They were put in to be a stabilizing force. Are they? Some would argue yes, they are. And some would argue no, they aren't. But like, what the U.S. is not allowed to own Bitcoin? Bullshit. The Federal Reserve might not be allowed to own Bitcoin. That might be true.
Yeah. I mean, the Federal Reserve is no more federal than Federal Express. It's a private company. It was created in 1913. They did. I don't like them.
But there's some legal frameworks. They may not. The Federal Reserve itself may not be able to hold Bitcoin under current laws. That may be true. They might only be allowed to hold bonds in U.S. dollars.
Yeah, but what about the Treasury? Can the U.S. Treasury hold it?
Why not?
Right?
Yeah. I'm not aware of it.
Like, I don't know.
Can they hold gold? Because if
I know Ohio can, because Josh Mandel, who's a former state treasurer, had put in that you're allowed to pay your taxes, at least state taxes, with Bitcoin in Ohio. So they are allowed to hold it. I don't know if that is just a state by state basis, and maybe just their treasury is allowed to, but not the federal one. But I know at least in Ohio you can.
Yeah, and so even if the current law doesn't allow it, then Congress and Senate could pass something that the president signed that would allow it. And I think politicians got from this last election that crypto is really important to the American population.
Also, I think the Fed had said there's only going to be like 2 rate cuts next year, and we were supposed to look at like 4 or 5. So that's just another reason why things had gone down. OMI did break down below that 0005s. We're in the 0004 area, 47 area. That I think people have a little bit of PTSD from the last bull and not taking profits, and they've been really punished by the bear. You see it in people's price predictions. VV Viral says, "'Tis the season for OMI price predictions." His mega bear case, really only a doubling from here, 0012 to 0033. So I guess it could go as high as like a 7x. Where he says the team does little to nothing, but alt season active community still gets us that amount of gain from here. His base bear case is 0033 to 008, which is the last local high from a few years ago. Then team delivers only to NFT for more brands only. Then his base bull case is 008 to the all-time high of 1.34 cents. So team delivers more OMI to NFT brands and OMI to bronze tickets and some VVverse utility. His mega bull case is 1.3 cents to 3 cents, where it caps out at that, saying all of the above plus Coinbase. He's asking for us for our thoughts. I think he's hella wrong, but I want to hear from you fellas first.
He laid out like some cases there on what it could go and what he thinks it will go. And I think some of that is just the PTSD of seeing the pendulum swing too far to the downside. And it makes you so bearish, just like when OMI swung all the way to 1.4 cents. Recency bias really, really sets in. And the recency bias has always done nothing but go down overall for the past 3 years. And so your recency bias is like very bearish. I'd say he's underrating it, but I like how he broke it down into different segments. That was really smart and strategic. I just think it's going to be, 3 or 4x higher than what all those different segments are. But I like how he broke it into mega bearish, and just broke it down to these different segments. Yeah. Smart.
What about you, Doc?
Yeah, like I agree that there's some PTSD. I mean, we have our own, we're all in this OMI channel, right? We give these price predictions that were way off for year end 2023 and 2024, right? Like, and so then there is this like just human nature to be like, okay, I was way off before, maybe I was way too bullish. Now I need to be more conservative in these things. But now we're trying to be more conservative in predictions when things are on the upswing, right? Like, so like I've just said this, I believe, and I'll just leave it at this, but like, I do believe that OMI surpasses its all-time high, this bull run. What it gets to past that, I don't know. But like, I do believe that it gets past its all-time high. Like, and I did a video just yesterday. So I put out this tweet like a week ago where I just was like, 2025 is going to be epic for Vivi and Ecomi. I'm just throwing it out there now and laying it out there, right? And a lot of people were like, yes, let's go. And then other people were like, yeah, like, why are you just saying this? You can't just like say that. Like, what's the reason behind it? So I made a video where I kind of broke out several reasons why. And man, next year is going to be bullish. Watch that video to break it down. But like, there's a lot going for Vivi and Ecomi. And some of that is just like the crypto momentum of the bull run. And also like, a pro crypto presidency is a big deal for all of that stuff. So on top of other things that I laid out.
Yeah, I think recency bias is a real thing and it impacts us tremendously. What a lot of people are forgetting is that they're picturing the existing VV community and OMI community and okay, people are going to be willing to spend more and buy more OMI. But I think the VV community greatly increases during a bull run when people start talking about digital collectibles again, and you have a lot of new entrants into the crypto market. I think those that have a collector side of them will really gravitate towards VV. And then OMI really starts to pump, and green candles bring new people, massive bullishness. And so I think it vastly exceeds 1.4 cents. So like anywhere from 3 cents and higher, could be as high as 30 cents, could be higher, but 3 to 30 cents is really, I think, the range that it's going to be in.
3 to 30 cents is it's a broad spectrum.
Market cap. 30 cents is a massive market cap, right?
Yeah. So, market caps get blown out during a bull market, like to crazy numbers. People that just either they haven't been around that long or they haven't noticed, like market caps get crazy. You'll see Cardano and Solana's market caps get crazy in OMI won't be as high as that, but OMI could be at 30 cents and still only be number 50 on CoinMarketCap.
It's true. It's a good point. Mine is a little bit different. Also, we'll have Ben come on. So I guess Dr. Stuff will have him on separately. He'll come on the OMI as my homie channel sometime in Q1. I don't know when. Likely when there's other stuff to talk about. Please don't get speculative on that, or you can if you'd like. So my bear case for OMI would be really just back to the local highs of last time, where really not much gets done. Ben tries to do things, but the team or whoever's not cooperating. But that narrative still hits. Obviously, you see a bunch of the NFT narrative go up. Right, that says this current dip is amazing. Everyone always wishes they bought the dip. here it is. Preach Raythax. Obviously, this is not financial advice, but me and Raythax go way back. He has not been wrong in the 3-ish plus years, 4 years that I've known him. He has not been wrong. Maybe he is this time. I don't know.
I like that. No, don't you say that. The streak continues. Let's go, Raythax.
Anyway, so if Ben tries, but let's say he fails, and really nothing gets done on the VV side, I still think because of that narrative, you've seen so much money go into NFTs this past few weeks that we just go back up to local highs anyway. I mean, VV's not just going to stop. Like, they're still going to be dropping drops. They're still going to be making money. My base case would be around 3 to 5 cents, kind of at the lower end of where Crypto Rain, his prediction is. He says 3 to 30. My base is 3 to 5. That'd be about a $15 billion market cap. I think then you'd likely be in the top 100 at 15 billion. If let's say you need 10 billion to get on the top 100 of CoinGecko, that would be mine. My bull case, and I'll have one after a bull because bull is just bull. My bull case would be around that 8 to 10 cent mark. That 8 to 10 cent mark just gets us 10 cents is at was that the 30? Yeah, it's a $30 billion market cap. Some might think it's a little high. I think it's a little high as well. But that's why it's bull. I mean, you have to have a couple things happen. For my golden goose scenario, and you guys are going to have to bear with me on this because I do have an explanation. I'd say 50 to $100 billion market cap. And I say golden goose because everything has to hit right. And if it does, I think that 50 cent mark, being $150 billion market cap, and that's if the burns are almost nothing. I think that's doable because we would need big exchanges for liquidity and ease of access to the token. Rolling out a VVverse phase 1 with OMI2 accessory so that there's demand for the token. We should be getting that in Q1. We would need a big reason to burn massive amounts of MCP points and bronze tickets so that the only way to get more is to burn OMI. MCP seems to be hyperinflationary already. Influencer marketing like we had last time, but bigger. I think last time you had like BitBoy, you had Crypto R Us, you had Logan Paul. I'm not saying we get those same guys again, but people like that. A referral code program in conjunction with an ambassador program. This will also help with influencer marketing. That's something that we know is being worked on right now. Then we need rollout of phase 2 of VVverse, which if we're getting phase 1 in Q1, I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility to say that we can get the rollout of phase 2 by Q4. Hopefully that bull market is still going strong by that point. That'd be IP branded worlds. And if they show us IP worlds of major licenses, that would be really great as well. They could officially announce that they got every single license from Recur after they collapsed. David hinted to that years ago. Haven't heard much since then. Officially announce Alibaba and explain why it's crucial to onboarding people in Asia. The last time they had mentioned that, David was on your guys' channel. And then you have major marketing in Japan and China once the Alibaba explanation is out. They can announce once again that they will have OMI to land once the Coinbase versus SEC lawsuit is settled. Now that we have that can be back on the table. We have big OMI burns for parties every quarter where they burn from the business development wallet to get people hyped. They still have that 5.5 billion OMI that they said they would burn. They have yet to burn. I think selling a piece of the company to either Apple or Tesla, raising $100 million, use it to scale appropriately. If they get Nintendo and or Pokemon to see the light, to make the smart decision to let VV take care of their high-end digital collectibles. Get the Harry Potter license after wax after it runs out.
Not FA though. It's not FA. Oh
no. Getting DC comics on VV, I think, is still possible. People keep calling me crazy, but I'm going to say it's still possible. Having QR codes in Marvel shows that people can scan and get a free comic on VV instead of Marvel Unlimited. I think the future is digital, and the Encyclopedia Britannica stopped printing physical copies over a decade ago. I think it's time to slowly phase out those physical comics as well. Have the narratives of digital collecting, metaverse, and AI hit all at the same time, creating massive hype for VV and its VVverse. And if we do these, I think we can get to that 50 cent mark, that golden goose scenario.
Yeah, say with what you laid out, right? That was an amazing wish list, but it's good to put things out in the universe. I know when I was single, I was like, okay, you know what? I got kids. I've been married before. I don't need anything. Like, I would get married. I wrote this list of like all these things. I was like, it doesn't exist, but it could happen. Then I met this gal that nailed every category but one that really wasn't that important. And I was like, oh, damn. Okay, cool. So I liked the long list there. That was an incredible list. And could it go to 50 cents in that scenario? Yeah, it could. And what's funny is people forget the pendulum swings too far each way, and it's been swinging so far to the downside that it does give people a shock. But if you think it's low now, imagine if you were with VV like 4 years ago and where you felt. The VV app had just gone live 4 years ago. The token wasn't moving. It wasn't doing shit. And you're like, what the heck? Is this ever going to catch on? Oh my gosh. And you were just literally 2.5 months away from one of the biggest token runs in all of crypto. But what swings too far up swings too far down. So now you're experiencing the flip side of that. Shouldn't be this cheap, but yet it is. So cool. Are you going to take advantage of it? A lot of people aren't. They're going to miss it and they'll later regret it.
So one of the things I think is very important for people to think about, right? Because I think there's probably a wide variety of people who watch this channel. Some people may be completely new to crypto and they hear some of these price predictions. And first and foremost, none of this is financial advice, right? These are just thoughts. And like anything that we're talking about is the stuff that we're doing, right? We're putting our money in this. This is what we're doing. It might not be good for you, but like, maybe in some crazy ultra golden bull scenario, it goes to 50 cents. Like I'm not throwing money at it with that thought that like, listen, it's going to go to 50 cents. So I'm throwing everything into OMI, right? Like I'm not doing that. Diversification is so important. And you can see that. Look, one of the things that the FUDders are always saying is, like, you know, as OMI starts to rip up and now they're like, oh, now it's only 98% down from where people bought in. And I'm like, that's true. That's true for some people who didn't dollar cost average. And all they did is hold. But at the same time, they haven't lost until they sell. And so look, I dollar cost averaged down. Like I bought my first entry point was like 0.008, I think is where I bought in at. And then I was like, oh, if I can even get to like 1 million OMI, I'm going to be so set, right? Now I think I'm at like 35 or 40 million OMI now, you know, and slowly climbing up. And I'm stoked on that, but it's because I dollar cost average. And I have a buddy that I got into VV and OMI, and he bought OMI and he hasn't bought any since, you know? And so, and his price point is probably, I think, like 0.003. And so he still has quite a ways to go before that happens, right? So, like, anyways, where I'm going with all of this is first of all, like with these price predictions, I don't think any of us are just like stacking, like hoping that it hits those potential crazy price points, right? And that's where I'm saying, like, I believe that it has a real, very strong possibility of surpassing its all-time high, and that's a massive gain even from there. However, what I have learned is I will always freaking keep a moon bag. So even if I'm like, listen, if it gets to like past its all-time high and I sell the majority of my tokens, I'm still going to be keeping 10% in case it does something crazy like that, because I've seen it happen time and time again where people are like, oh, like I made all this money. Like I'm at Pepe. Pepe's a great example. Pepe pumped, you know, and people are like, oh, I made all this money, and they sell out. And then Pepe just does nothing for a while. And then all of a sudden Pepe went just ballistic, right? Like way higher than anyone thought. And everyone's like, if I had held my tokens, I'd be a multimillionaire, right? Instead I made about 50K. So I think it's always important to hold a moon bag, but I hope that just provides some perspective. When we talk about these price predictions and things, we're not stacking all of our money into one token, even though we love OMI and we have a channel that we talk about OMI being our homie. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
We should have another channel that says like Devi for degenerates, and we could all just talk about Devi.
I'm buying. I gotta buy more Devi, but
so I want to get into more Devi.
Just like last week, and I need to buy more Devi.
I want to ask Rain about this, but I just have to finish up on this last topic for OMI, like that 30 to 50 cent golden goose scenario. I don't think that has like a 10% chance of happening. I think that has like a 3% chance or less of happening. Like 3% chance that maybe, you know, you launch, you know, 100 different scenarios. Like you launch 100 different simulations from now until next year. And I think 97% of those, they do not get anywhere close to 30 cents or above. But I think in three of them, you have most of those things that can happen, and they will. You know, are we in that universe? Are we in that scenario, and I don't know, but I think it can. And if all of those things happen and we don't hit that, I mean, you have to make sure that people don't pay attention to market caps, because that's an insane market cap. But yeah. Anyway, back to Devi. Rain, you had a live stream with that. You were a busy boy today. It's your third live stream. Shout out to you. Hope you're drinking your hot cocoa and honey. What was the most important thing that you learned or you discussed on the Devi stream before?
Yeah, that was great. It had Austin from Devi on. Now I'm here for crypto investment, right? So I have a collector side of me, this inner nerd of me that loves Vivi. And like when I saw what they were doing with the augmented reality collectibles, I was like, oh, fetch. Yes, I love it. And I would love to see them implement something like with what Wax did with the Harry Potter, where they're kind of like cards, but then movable cards. Oh, I would freaking love that. Really, really good implementation. What I'm all about is digital collectibles with really, really good implementations. That's a fantastic implementation. Vivi should copy the hell out of that idea, because that's a fantastic implementation. I would love Vivi to be the #1 platform for digital collectibles, because I do believe in the digital collectible space. I like crypto and different narratives. In the digital collectible space, I think in the future, collectibles digital, that is the thing. And some of these early first appearances, or some of these ones that become highly desirable that everyone wants, like Miles Morales, or they're going to want the Peter Parker Spider-Man, the secret rare or whatever, or even the commons become highly desirable and tons of people want them and the prices go crazy. And I think digital collectibles are freaking amazing. But I don't only invest in Omi. Omi is one of my larger bags that I have. My largest one is Devi. And so I had an interview earlier today with their new spokesperson for the Devi Foundation. He did an incredible job of laying out why I'm invested in Devi. Devi's one of my largest bags of crypto. And I'm hugely invested in it. And, I've been tempted to sell some for Omi, but I don't like selling what's, I think, massively undervalued for something else that I think is massively undervalued. So, I haven't yet. And even though it's run up it bottomed out at 12 cents. And I shared with my channel, I was like, 12 cents. It should never be this cheap. Sometimes the pendulum swings too far each way. Like 12 cents is ridiculously low for what they're doing. And I think it goes a lot higher. Well, they alluded to some things in that they have a partnership with one of the biggest exchanges in the world. So not a crypto exchange, not Binance or not, I don't know. So one of the largest exchanges in the world. And, it's pretty clear that's not Robinhood. He said bigger than Robinhood. So hard to understand what that is, that's doing a partnership with them, because what their technology offers is exactly what they've been looking for. When they saw what Devi could do, that's huge. Well, most people in crypto don't know what Devi is. They haven't heard about it. Even though they've been around since 2016, their token wasn't even live till January this year. Most people have no idea what Devi is. And these are the kinds of undervalued cryptos that I like to invest in. I like to cover on my channel. I don't get tons of traction from covering undiscovered things. Like when I covered Vivi in 2021, March of 2021, half my audience freaking left. They were so pissed I was covering a digital collectible, and they told me to get back to covering the real stuff like Cardano, that they literally revolted, and the unsubscribe numbers were huge. Was I right? Yeah. I don't only invest in Cardano. Cardano at the time was one I was highly interested in because I thought it had good upside potential. But I cover good investment. I felt like Vivi's app was amazing, earth-shattering, and that it would do really well. And I was right. Devi is another one of those that I think has amazing upside potential. It was not as cheap as it was. It was at 12 cents, and today it's like at 80 cents, 76 cents right now.
Yeah. It was like 96 the other day, or 98. And
it went all the way to $1 the other day, right at $1. I checked my app and it was at $1. So it's, crypto is usually 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Maybe it even comes back more than this. I don't know, but this exchange, they said they'll be announcing it in the near future. If it's as big as I think it is, if it gets announced in the right way, these prices are gone for forever.
Did they give a timeline on when they'd announce that?
No.
Damn. So it could be tomorrow. It could be in May. It could be in December of next year.
I got a feeling probably within 8 weeks time frame.
I think that Q1. I would guess Q1 because if someone's talking this much, I saw him on what is it, Bravo AMA or what's it, the Brave World podcast or something like that, like an AMA that he did just recently too. Rain, I still need to watch the one on your channel, but like that podcast, that interview. First of all, what an excellent comms guy that is. Are you kidding me? He does such a good job. Hyper intelligent, very well spoken, like really animated and just gets you pumped, so he does a great job of talking through things and breaking things down in such a way that like is very easy to understand, but then also like helps you understand deeper topics. So love that. But when he's saying soon, and one of the things that he said is he's like, when we announce this partnership, to me, that means like this partnership is in the bag, right? And they're announcing that soon. You don't announce a partnership that's not like inked. And I don't think you talk about a partnership that's not inked.
Or else right? You run the risk of looking like an idiot.
Oh yeah. Like, and again, like looking at this guy and how much experience he has in the crypto industry, he knows you don't do that. So again, this is me making assumptions based on that, but, I would be absolutely shocked if it's not in Q1 that this partnership is announced. And so I am trying to pack my bags a lot more with that in mind. And that's just me. And it is like I think it's a high risk, very high reward. The way he talks about that, whatever this partnership is, would be massive. So,
Sol G saying, what do you guys think of the quantum computing in the future? Will it affect Bitcoin? Your thoughts? I think that for anyone that has quantum computing or has looked it up, not Andreessen, Mark Horowitz from Andreessen Horowitz had mentioned the other day that he believes that Google's quantum computing chip is proof that the multiverse is real, because the equation that they had solved, if every star in the universe was a supercomputer, it would have taken longer than the life of this universe to. All right, hey.
My rule with Miss Rain is if she's distracting me during the live stream, and then she walked by me wearing this dress, so that was very distracting. I had to check her out like 3 or 4 times. She then has to come say hi to everyone so they can see why I'm so distracted.
It's white night at the dance place, so this is about as close to white as I have.
Wait, can I not go?
My earrings too, look.
Oh yeah, the snow globe ones. Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mark Andreessen basically saying that Google's quantum computing chip is proof that we are in a multiverse, and I was like, this is wild. I don't know how to wrap my head around that. I've always hypothesized that for years, but what do you guys think of it? Do you think it'll affect Bitcoin? Do you think that it can go and kind of hack it and essentially make it useless?
I thought Fernando did a good job of addressing why a quantum computer won't be able to hack it. He did a great job laying it out there.
Yeah.
They would have to generate so much hash power. And even then they can fork it and then up the difficulty. So I think we're past the point that Bitcoin will be hacked that way, but maybe I'm wrong.
I think that's for a normal supercomputer. I think Willow's chip is different. I think that's. Oh no, he's saying Willow. Okay, no, I'm in the.
No. Yeah, he's talking right. So
yeah,
like,
he's talking about.
From the quantum computing, like the podcasts that I've heard, and what they kind of mix like AI, quantum computing, and crypto. They're saying it would still take right now about like anywhere from like 7 to 10 years to get to this 10,000 qubits point. That's plenty of time for Bitcoin to process what's the best way to go about that, right? Because there can be a hard fork if necessary. And there's a lot of purists that will be like, well, then it's not, if you can do that, then it's not Bitcoin. And it's like, listen, if the decision is, the choice is either Bitcoin goes away or it survives. And to survive, we have to do the hard fork. It's going to hard fork. It's going to hard fork. It'll happen. So I don't think that there's true, but I think that when that announcement was made, that's when Bitcoin tanked, right? There's some fear there where people are like, oh my God. Bitcoin's over. It's dead. I got to get out of this, But those are the people with knee-jerk reactions. That's emotions, right? Instead of someone being like, well, let me look into this a little bit more. What does this mean? Let me research this before I make these decisions. Like, people just panic, and that's what helps us make money. So I'm grateful for those people. Thank you. Panicky people.
Absolutely. So the question was on, also the multiverse, right? What's really interesting to me, I've heard a lot of people make the case that we're living in a simulation. There's one thing that makes me question whether we are, and it's that matter changes its behavior when it's being observed versus not being observed, which is mind freaking blowing. I think about that sometimes. I'm like, what the hell? I do believe, like, I've been listening a lot to this guy, Joe Dispenza, and I freaking love his stuff. One of the things I've been on a personal quest my whole life to improve who I am substantively. Like, if you become better, funny enough, you get better in life. So, like, Jason Pena says, lucky man, Rain. I don't think luck has much to do with it. I think being blessed. And what's funny, if you do consistently work on upgrading who you are, it upgrades who you surround yourself with, because you attract better people into your life. So I would definitely say I'm a blessed man. I'm blessed to have my wife in my life. She's an amazing person. And I think she's in my life because she loves, just what the relationship brings to her. And it's not money, because when we met, I was worth less than zero. I wasn't even broke. I was still digging out of a hole from my divorce that had happened 7 years prior to me. The hole was so big, it took me 7 years to dig out of. So it wasn't money that she was attracted to. It was something else. And that, when you do work and grow yourself. So what's funny is Joe Dispenza talks about how you can really shape your future through focused intention. And he talks about when matter is observed, behavior changes, and how really you are a creator in this world, and you can create your future by being very intentional about your life. And I agree with that. I'm living proof. I was really mediocre when I was in school. My grades were mediocre. I didn't have hardly any friends. I didn't know how to dress attractively. In my senior year, I got my hair cut a certain way. I dressed a little bit better, and I did get noticed by girls for like the first freaking time. That was great. But like, I was just, if you asked my graduating class if they knew me, maybe 3% would even remember me. Why? I was just mediocre. But I learned that mediocrity is a choice, and excellence is also a choice. And that if you choose to behave like exceptional people do, you start getting exceptional results, and you can attract, as you grow yourself, better and better people into your life, and better results. So I think, Elon Musk or some other people say, I find the harder I work, the luckier I am. There's some truth to that. The truth is, when you learn to behave like people get top results do, you start getting top results yourself in your life. And that each of you has the opportunity for exceptional results in your life. Even though our lives aren't meant to be the same, like you're not meant to be me, I'm not meant to be you. We all have a different path and some other mission that's central to our life. And it's an adventure in itself, figuring what that is and reaching the highest potential for what we can become. But I do think, that somewhat we're living in a simulation that's like a giant video game. You have to level up your character. You have to level up all these things, your person, who you are. And as you do, you get better results. You can handle bigger problems. And that life doesn't happen to us. It happens for us. So as you overcome obstacles, and I had some really big obstacles in my life. I thought they would crush me. I didn't know how I would get through them. And they didn't end me. And getting through them made me so much stronger, made me understand things. And they weren't fair to me. They were horrible. They weren't fair to me at all. But I grew so much from those that's part of who made me who I am. And so at the time I was like, I would love all these burdens to be off of me. I don't know how to handle them, and they aren't even fair to me. God, why did you let all this happen? But now I wouldn't go back and change it at all. I feel so blessed to be here with all of you. I feel so blessed that my friend told me about crypto in 2017. He even spelt it wrong. He spelt it Krypto. And I was like, oh, and I started Googling it, couldn't find it, found out it spelt with a C, and started diving into it. And, it was the opportunity I'd been searching for. High volatility. I like that, with a relatively short market cycle. And I had been investing in lots of things for 20 years, almost 20 years at that point. When I saw crypto, I was like, you know what? This is my chance to go from digging out of a big hole to financially changing my life if I can learn this right, if I can do this right. And I'm going to throw everything at it. And I have. And 2021 was life-changing for me. This year is going to be super life-changing.
Preach.
Rain. Oh, go ahead, Randy. What were you going to say?
I was going to say shout out to everyone in the comments, but yeah, you go.
No, I think your comments come at a perfect time for me. Some stuff that I'm going through. And it's crazy because what you've learned, it can be forgotten. I think I used to know all of this stuff. I used to live it, right? So in high school, I was a student body officer. I was prom king. Pretty popular kid. Yeah. Got really good grades, had, scholarship, did really well in college and things. But man, life gets a hold of you. And I think that you can, some of these concepts, you can let them slip. But I do think that crypto, and that you actually bringing crypto up to me, has been very, the timing of that was incredibly fortuitous, and kind of the trajectory of my career with that has been extremely helpful. But yeah, just your comments here. I'm taking notes, man. Taking notes. I love it. So appreciate that. It's good commentary.
Fortuitous is going to be my word for the day. We have Omicron. What's going on with Mr. Naruto PFP over there? Do you guys think Vivi taps the gaming industry, where skins, weapon variants, etc., become NFTs you unlock and then use codes in the game to utilize? Funny you should mention that, because we have Fortnite bringing in none other than Plunger Man, and outside of Plunger Man, you have the one, the only, the Skibbity Toilet. So these are things that are, these are new skins that are available in Fortnite. They are probably the most viral memes and videos from 2023 and 2024. Absolute madness. I would love it if Vivi were, because that's how you get the youth on. That's how you get kids. I don't know anyone 30 and over that spends time watching these videos. All the people that I know watching these videos are all 29 and younger. Some of them teens, some of them kids. That's what they do. I would love it if they did that. They have the IP branded worlds. We don't know what they are yet. We do know one of them, and that was what's his name, Ron English, and he actually posted a video before, yesterday, and one of it in the video happens to be of the Meta Mogul, the Mogul grin that we have. It was in a series of the video was like an acid trip. You just go from one thing to another. That's a all right, just so you guys know what the meme was, it was just all right, sperm going to an egg. It's okay, there's a cure for cancer, there's an Olympian, and there's you as a pathetic loser.
That's amazing. That's funny. Randy, this is why I love you, bro. You're just so real. Oh, it's so good.
Thanks, man. I love this.
I would love for Vivi to get in that space. I don't know if the direction they're focusing on coincides with that. The right things would have to come together for that to happen in the shorter term. Longer term, sure. Will they miss being part of the early stuff that happened? I think they do. Longer term, I don't know. I don't know what the Vivi-verse looks like and what those partnerships that they may or may not have with the Vivi-verse look like. I would have to know that in order to have an idea of if they can catch that. It's a big deal. Big A, had a chance to play some Off the Grid with him. Love that game, and it was fun playing with him. He's quite good in Off the Grid. and we had a blast, and we talked about crypto and other things while I connected them up with some of my friends I play Off the Grid with on Xbox. And Off the Grid is awesome. You're starting to see how blockchain and gaming can completely coincide and coexist, and that it gives you true asset ownership. Now, you can't sell those assets yet for real world money. That's coming. And most people in gaming don't get that this is coming. Imagine when you can get these skins for some of the biggest games in the world, and you can own them and then become hyper rare. Maybe there's 5,000 of them, but there's 2 million people playing the game. Those 5,000 of whatever is some of the most desirable skins, their price will go through the roof. And that's what this true ownership idea is going to be so earth-shattering. A lot of people don't get it. So I would love Vivi to get into that. Just like I would love them, like what Wax did with Harry Potter. Like, I hope they're taking notes, because that is really, really cool. I would love to see them get into the card space, where they have some kind of cards, they have some kind of packs with some IP out there, because I think it just broadens the categories. Broadens your display cases, because then you could stack cards there, right? And you could set them up, and they have some 3D things like the Harry Potter things where they're 2D cards, but they have 3D-ness because they're turning like this. That would be so cool, especially going with the Harry Potter theme, that their pictures already do that and have movement in them. And Vivi has the capabilities to do stuff like that. I would love to see them do something like that with like card packs, or you can make it blind box where it's just one, but I would love to see you be able to open up a pack where there's like 7 cards in it. Kind of like the baseball card experience, kind of like what people are used to, what collectors love. And they're designed that way because collectors love that, getting several cards from one pack. And I've seen like lots of other ones do where you get multiple cards, like Gods Unchained, which launched forever ago. Got multiple cards per pack. That was a lot of fun opening those up.
You're talking about trading or buying and selling something that they don't have just yet, but they will. You have a couple of things like that, like Pokemon. They had released their new pack called Mythical Island. Mew is on the cover, which I thought was really cool. You are currently not able to go in and trade those or sell those. Like Disney Pinnacle has trading events where you're supposed to just be able to trade, and people openly confess their crimes of what you're not supposed to do, of selling one thing for another and then PayPaling them or Venmoing them on the side, but they do. And when they go in and they do that, they are going to open up their marketplace. Their marketplace does have a fee, but it's like a listing fee. It's nowhere near what Vivi has. Vivi has that 10% cash out fee. Their listing fee, I think is actually 9.5% for their seller's fee, but they do charge a small amount to list that does get refunded if it does sell. So you can't just list all willy-nilly for whatever reason. I mean, you can, but they'll charge you for it. What do you guys think of that? Is Pinnacle coming for Vivi? Are they a Vivi killer because they have less fees for their cash out? Or is it just like, hey, this is cool, we should be happy for them, let's grow the hobby?
Hold on. I gotta let me make sure I understood. You're saying that there is going to be a marketplace for Pinnacle?
Yes.
Okay. But then the trading goes away, correct?
They have trading events, which they may or may not take away, because there doesn't seem to be a need for a trading event if you have a marketplace. So that's what I would think. But their fees right now is 9.5% seller fee. They have an $8 transaction fee for cash out, and they have 50-cent listing fee. But that's it. They're, I guess, from December 19th to the 22nd, they're going to have reduced selling fees, but they're coming. I don't know when. I don't think I have a date on here, but I think it's going to be through Dapper, through their Dapper wallet.
You know, part of the reasons for the cash out fees being so high on Vivi is because the app fees, when you buy them through the iPhone app or whatever, are so high. And so it's just a buffer. Those fees could come down if over time people are buying all their gems using just the regular app, and their fees are much, much less. So right now, yeah, that's going to be less than what Vivi's are. There's good reasons why they're so high on Vivi. And maybe over time that can go and not be so high as people use the computer rather than, the iPhone app to buy their gems.
Yeah. The Dapper wallet I like. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I don't know why people say like the next VV killer, and I actually haven't heard that in the community in quite some time. I think we need to get off that narrative first and foremost, right? We need competition in this space. Yeah. VV does, and so as sad as it is that Wax got Harry Potter, it's not all IPs are going to go through VV. Like they don't necessarily have those connections, right? And like whatever, like it needs to happen, and that's more organic. Right, for some of these IPs to hit on different projects and platforms and to do things differently. So I like what they're doing. And I like that 8% cash out fee. Like that's epic. But like Rain pointed out, like there's a reason why like Disney Pinnacle isn't on the App Store. You can't get the Disney Pinnacle app, right? Like it's got to be on the web base. So they don't have that Apple fee. Otherwise, I think that we would see a similar cash out type of, like barrier there. So I think it's cool. Like I'm interested in checking it out. I think it's important that we continue to keep our mind open so that we don't have blinders on, because I think it's very important to sit there and then if we see something good, like I'm constantly saying, hey, Vivi, I love the cryptos box opening. I really think that you should look into that, right? The animations of like opening that, like that is a dopamine hit that I think will get people to really enjoy that experience even more. And when they enjoy that experience, they want to experience it again, which means the only way they can do that is to get it off the drop, right? Like, so I think that there's some things that like, look, there's a lot of the competitors that are coming after VV that are copying a lot of what VV's done because VV paved the road for it, right? But they're also coming up with their own ideas to kind of differentiate them. I think there's certain things that VV can learn from that. So welcome to competition. I think it's healthy, and it makes you never want a monopoly. I'm just going to say that. You never do. It doesn't matter what it's in. You never want a monopoly.
Yeah, and some of the stuff that they have for like, I would collect most of these. I don't know who the little green gecko guy is down there, but for Disney Pinnacle, like these guys would be cool to have on any one of my VV NFTs. Like if you have an Ariel on VV, I would love to collect these guys and put them on her seashell bra that she has. I don't know, she doesn't have much clothes, but you know what I mean. Being able to put that on there, I think would be fun. I think interoperability with a lot of these things would be cool. And anytime I had to move stuff on and off the Dapper, whether it was Flow, I don't think there was really a fee for that either. So I think the fees should be pretty low on the Dapper wallet. But speaking of other parties, you have Ubisoft. Let me find the one here. Oh, it might not be. Maybe it was yesterday. Ubisoft has closed their Web3 Discord, and that was used for everyone to keep all of their stuff onto keep up with their Web3 stuff. They said that it was Arnoa, formerly used to work for VV. He was the one that moved over to Ubisoft to head their kind of Web3 platform. They had mentioned that they're closing their Discord. They're moving over to Telegram. I don't know why they would. I know Discord's a pain in the butt to use. Telegram is a little bit easier. I don't know why they don't just do things over on Twitter. I think that'd be also a little bit easier. But it seems that they are kind of winding down, as did Artifact, as did a couple of the other things. We're in the bull market now. Why are these companies all kind of choosing now to kind of be like, hey, we're done? Whether it's Hero, whether it's Artifact, or Ubisoft.
Well, I think because they're doing bad implementations, they're like, oh, this doesn't work for us. And sometimes it's like trying to change around a cruise liner ship. Like it's hard. They can't easily do it, where something that's new and more nimble from the foundation can change appropriately to really take advantage of things. This is why like Amazon was this online bookstore. Why did Barnes & Noble not crush them? Barnes & Noble was this behemoth, and Amazon was like this startup idea selling books online, used books online. And it's become this behemoth that, is competing now with Walmart and like all the major retailers out there and massively hurting them. Well, why didn't Barnes & Noble come up with that? Why didn't Walmart come up with that? Sometimes because they can't. They're not nimble enough. They're too inflexible in their thinking. So Ubisoft's like, yeah, we'll create a Web3 Discord and we'll give it some attention, but they're not fundamentally addressing this idea of ownership and not sitting back and rethinking the whole way that they're doing things. They're like, whatever, we're the big boys here. Pfft, who cares about off the grid bunch of wannabes anyway? We're going to let them do their thing. And, oh, yeah, we'll start a Web3 thing and blah, blah, blah. And they're just missing the bigger picture. And if they're not careful, it's new companies that nobody's ever heard of, founded by some people that have left some of these bigger companies that are going to be the biggest gaming companies in the world 3 years from now. And we saw that with like Supercell, right? Who the hell was Supercell, 8 years ago? And then they created Clash of Clans and some other things on the mobile apps. And, all the big game makers at the time was like, oh, how stupid, them and their little app thing. That's not going to be a big deal. And Supercell, made like billions of dollars, where most video games never reach that type of revenue. So a lot of times they don't take this new technology near as serious as they need to. And when they do, they kind of like dabble in it. They don't fundamentally look at it and be like, oh my gosh, this changes everything. They just kind of keep going the direction that they've been going and maybe change 1 or 2 degrees rather than making the 90-degree shift they really need to make. So Ubisoft might fall victim to that.
So there's a story. You guys all know Kodak film, right? So
I know exactly what you're talking. Say it. Yeah.
But this is a perfect example. So sometimes, Rain, they're not nimble enough, but then sometimes they're terrified of cannibalizing their own business, right? And so they're like, if we do this online bookstore, does that then lead that, like, then people are like, well, we don't need this. And then, like, what does that do to my job? Like, so people don't like to take those risks. And the perfect example is with Kodak. So there's this guy, his name is Steve Sasson. And in 1975, he basically builds out one of the first digital cameras, right? And he shows it to the executives, right? So this is a high-ranking guy, Kodak. He's like, hey, guys, check this out. I don't think that we need film anymore, right? Like, there's a way that this can be digital. We can do these digital cameras and stuff. And they're like, great idea. We'll table it for now, right? And they were just like, we're not showing this to anyone, right? Like that will destroy our business as we see it now, right? And so they panicked in that. And so, like, I think that that's the same thing right now with comic book stores, right? Instead of comic book stores trying to like reach out to Vivi and being like, listen, we've got a bunch of collectors here that already collect physical comics. What if we had a digital code? Could we get a digital code and kind of be like an affiliate for you and try to start selling digital and have this be another revenue stream for us? Instead, all they do is talk shit on digital comic books, right? They're like, oh, it's terrible. It's because they're terrified of that. And so, like, it's either like you got to be flexible and be willing to say, this is where things are headed and how do I adapt? And sometimes those big companies can't do that. And so you get these Ubisofts, right, where they're like, yeah, we'll dip our foot into it. You get the Nikes with Artifact, and they're like, we'll dip our foot in it. But they never go full-fledged and say, this is the future. Digital collecting is the future. And we need to be a part of it. We need to be at the forefront of that. And we're going to put significant capital into doing that.
With the exception of Marvel, look at them recognizing what Vivi was doing, and they jumped all the way in. Contrast that with DC. DC was actually one of the first people that did a thing with Vivi, and then they massively stepped back, and Marvel's like, hold my beer. We're going to go all in on this. Look at how much money Marvel is making from these and how much work do they have to put into it compared to what the Vivi team does. Like a whole lot of meetings so they can get all the licensing approved. I hear that's quite a lot of hurdles to go through. But they get money every time these resell. And I think the values that some of these Marvel collectibles hit in a bull run is crazy. And then making a fraction of every time it changes hands, I'm sure those people that jumped in, they took some risks. I think they're massively going to get rewarded and be like, oh, you guys are the ones that made this decision. Promotions coming for them. Oh, really smart being on top of this. Look at you. Oh, wow, you're incredible, right? Like, so a lot of times these big companies don't make such smart decisions. Marvel and Disney jumped in big, especially with the Marvel brand, jumped in huge with this. Smart. Yeah, good job.
That does bring us to the most recent announcement for Dynamite Comics. They have Powerpuff Girls. They have Vampirella. They got Thundercats, which sold out. I bought the first one, and I read it, and it was good. The first, like, it's like an origin story. Hey, what happens? Why I know, why are you old now? And then towards the end is like, okay, I see what they're doing here. And it's like, yeah, I enjoyed it, and I can't wait for the second one. I can't wait for that to come out as well. More recently, on top, so they made a big splash with that. You can go in and you can tell how much they're making off of the VV digital variants, because you can tell how many are. Let's say that it has 989, because out of 1,000 they keep like the first 10 or whatever, 9, whatever it is. So I have like 990, and you just subtract from there, and you do that, and that's fine. They'll make an extra 5 figures a week with their stuff, but what we're not able to find out is how much they're making off of just the digital copy of just, it's a couple dollars less, so they're not making as much, but it's an unlimited amount. And I wish we could know that. I wish maybe next time Ben's on, we can get him to answer that. Big A is saying, like, anyone else grab the TVA #1 comic? I got 3 so far. I just got one, Bill. I got a Alligator Loki holiday issue, and I got a TVA. Both of them were common. I probably could have saved myself like $12 and just bought I assumed the commons on VV for a couple bucks. They had Johnny Quest #5 over there. I love Johnny Quest, but they only have #5. They don't have like the #1 issue available. Have you guys gotten any comics over the last couple weeks? Since I think it's been a while since we went over like Aliens vs. Avengers and stuff.
So let me jump in though, because I want to go back to this thing about Marvel jumping in and Dynamite Comics jumping in, right? And looking at what's happening in the future. And I just had this image pop in my mind. You know that meme where it's like, it's this old man and he's got these 2 young grandkids, and one of the kids is like, "Hey, Grandpa, like, why are we millionaires?" or whatever like that, right? Like, and then the grandpa gives a reason, and the other kid's like, "Effing legend," right? Like, just like pictures like, "Hey, Grandpa, how come Dynamite Comics made it with some of the other Dynamite Comics, like, other like independent comic publishers failed?" And he's like, "Because we partnered with VV." And then the grandson's like, "Effing legend." Like I need to make that meme, like and have like a Thundercats comic book in the background or something like that. But that's what, dude, I'm actually pretty bugged because I saw that announcement with Thundercats, and like Thundercats was a big. So here's what's funny, man. Memories are very interesting. Like, we have this ability to look back on like something and like we make it so much better than it actually was. And I say that because like I remember as a kid, Thundercats was one of my favorite freaking like cartoons to watch in the morning. You had Lion-O, which I thought was this baller, Chitara, like, was it Tigra, Panthro, and then Mumra was just like awesome, right? So I remember kind of like around high school or like in college or something, somehow I was able to go back and watch some episodes, and I was like, I really feel like I should have watched those episodes. I feel like this has like destroyed my memories of how awesome Thundercats was. I was like, the animation's not as good as I remember it, and like it's just funny, right? But like I still love it. It's this nostalgia. But so they make this announcement about Thundercats, and I'm like, I can't wait for that to drop. Thinking it's gonna drop on. I should have thought about it. Like, of course, it's gonna be on VV Comics and not dropped on VV. But anyways, I can't remember who I saw. It might have been Wes. That Wes was like, "Oh, Grail," and he had the SR Thundercats, and I was like, "Yo, what the heck is this dropped?" And so then I go on to VV Comics, and it's like there's like 220 left, and I'm just like, buy. I'm trying to buy as many, and every time like I buy, and it's, look, VV, there's got to be a way to buy more than one comic.
Dude,
after a certain time. It is like the most painful, freaking aggravating thing in the world. Can I just say I hate it so much? I hate it. It makes me so angry. But anyway, yeah, I'm like buy, and I got to like re-enter all of my information every single time. It's just like buy one comic at a time, and like so I buy it's like 222, and then I buy again, and there's only 208 left, and I'm like, people are doing it too. And like I bought it all the way. I was only able to buy 8 of those 222 that were left. I was only able to buy 8 before it sold out. Didn't get a secret rare. Super worked on it, but yeah, I did get how do you say that again? Vampirella. Yeah, and like a couple of those others. I need to get the TVA, but yeah, like I love it.
They also don't have a resale fee like Marvel does. So like you don't, when you go and resell them, it's not a 8.5% hit. It's only a 2.5% for VV. So I really like that about them as well. That's always really fun. The number one I thought that had sold out, but I'm looking on it now and it looks like now it says there's 117 left. What?
Wait, of Thundercats?
Yeah, hold on. There's got to be a.
Hold on.
Oh no, I'm sorry. 117 left in the market. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry.
Come on, man.
Dude, I was about to go crazy.
I legit was like I literally have the app open right now. I'm buying more.
Yeah. On the market, let's see how well they're holding up. The commons above retail is $13. The uncommon is not, that's $6, but the rare is $12, ultra is $33. Damn, secret rare is $350. I know there were a couple that sold for like 180, 200. I don't know if the secret rare has any sales at 300 or more. But either way, if you want one, that's the minimum you can get. Anyway, outside of Thundercats, have you guys gotten anything else from the VB Comics lately?
No, I moved some money over probably 4 weeks ago and bought a bunch of collectibles. Bought some more like Darth Vaders, some more Boba Fett's, and then mostly comics because I think the comics are massively undervalued. I think that partnership between VV and Marvel for the comics was brilliant, and then having other comics coming in, like these are good names like Thundercats and Powerpuff Girls. I think those are smart deals, and I would love to see VV become the comics hub of the future. It's going a good direction that way. DC has tried a few different things, and this is what's cool about experimentation. They've done some things well, and like it's been fun being part of the Bat Cows community and seeing what they're doing. They just have had a hard time really getting traction with it. I think if DC Comics came over to the VV app, they would instantly be coming into where there's already a huge user base and bringing their brand IP and already an experience they don't have to worry about. They just have to worry about the comics themselves. And then VV would become like the major hub for digital comics. And I think that's a sector that's really big of the digital collectible space is comics. Having Marvel means that they have a huge chunk of the comics already. So
agreed. Other IP, before we get to the IP issues, have you participated in Fishmas at all? Getting a couple of those free Fish NFTs from VV.
I have not been able to keep up with Fishmas, and that's I love what Brock does, man. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually pretty pissed at myself that I just have not set time aside to do that, because he's so good at getting people engaged. Like he super fun. So I gotta go look to see if it's too late to jump into Fishmas and I haven't joined it all. I'll have to see, because I still have some of his Web3 fishes. I've got fishes on VV. I love it. So
yeah, I haven't. Brock McBlockchain has one of my favorite quotes of all time. He said he is an extremely smart guy. I don't have any fishes. They're cool, and I think they'll actually do well. And there's a lot of things on VV that are going to do well. So trying to decide what to do is hard for me. I don't know if you guys like trying to decide what to buy on VV when I put more money over is like there's so many good options on there. Like, I have a hard time figuring out what's going to do the very, very best. So,
Nice. So speaking of IP, you have Mark Longo, the owner of the original Peanut the Squirrel. He's suing Binance over the Peanut listing, alleging unauthorized use of Peanut's likeness, and he's demanding the IP removal by 31 December 2024. Crypto Wendio says IP and crypto are so fascinating to me. Personal ethics come into play while participating in a true decentralized economy. Such a circus to watch. Godspeed. What do you guys make of this?
so he's going to have a hard time showing that it's like Peanut's likeness, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's a
he doesn't
squirrel.
own squirrels.
Yeah, it's a squirrel and it's called Peanut. So has he like copyrighted it to the extent that he'll win that? I don't know. He's probably just looking for a payoff. And his lawyer's probably like, I'll work on a contingency. Let's sue him and see if we get some money.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't buy meme coins. I didn't buy any Peanut. I won't buy any Peanut. I won't take any bets like that. I like companies like Vivi, where I feel like they're participating in a narrative that has a good track record, good future, strong team, and it makes more sense. There's more tangibility to me than like a meme coin that's like, cool, what happened to the squirrel is really, really stupid. Maybe even help Trump win by more, because
Agreed.
it's pretty much blamed on the Democrats who control New York politics and New York government almost 100%, for going in and taking the squirrel and killing him, because you're not allowed to have wild animals when, he was living without incident there for years.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
and people love Peanut the squirrel. So make a meme coin. I mean, smart guy by whoever came up with that idea. I mean, why not? But
it seems like
I don't know.
It seems like anything that Luigi reached like a couple $100 million market cap before that kind of fell. That was the guy that unalived the United Healthcare CEO. And then you have Fartcoin. The entire market is just like taking a giant dump today, and Fartcoin's up to like hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, yeah, it's bananas.
Yeah,
animation for that. Yeah, dude.
It really is gambling, and I like gambling on stuff where it's what's the difference between investment and gambling, and really it's just like your odds and how you can assess your odds. So it's like, if you're counting cards and playing 21, the casinos don't catch you and kick you out, are you really gambling? I don't know. I don't know at that point, because you're playing the odds where the odds are stacked in your favor. And I feel like in the crypto space, there's plenty of opportunities where you can stack the odds in your favor by good research. And that still, even with good research, you bet on a good team and a good narrative and everything, they might run out of runway or cash before they really catch enough traction to survive. So it still could go to zero, but you're using research to offset the risk, so that maybe you're taking something that has a 70% chance of having enough runway and a good enough team that they'll eventually catch traction if they survive till then. And if you're right, they go 10x or 50x or 100x. And if you're wrong, you lose everything. But you have a 70% chance of winning. And if you win, it goes 10 to 100x. Well, those are odds you can never get at a casino ever. It just plays out over a longer time frame, which is hard, right? So if you're buying during the bear market and holding till the bull market, that might be a hold for 3 years or 2 years or a year and a half. A lot of people don't have the patience to let that all play out. If it doesn't go up in the next month, I'm selling, and I'm, selling it at a bigger loss to roll it into something that just went 10x. And I see people making those decisions all the time. It doesn't usually go well for them.
Agreed. We have question. Ben says, can't quite understand how a project like Definity and Devi can have large investors but small market caps. Could you help explain it? Well, I think Devi's market cap is nearing like 100, or it did near like 100 million. Obviously, it's a bit lower now. Definity's are still very, very small at like 8 million. There's just not a lot of people that know about it. Like, you could have a couple of big investors, and that's why you have people that don't sell, and that's why it could get up to millions of dollars. But for me, that's it. It's just there's not enough people know about it yet.
I remember a time when Cardano's market cap And this is after it had a massive bull run. Cardano's market cap was at $200,000 during the bear market of 2020. And so keep in mind, it had hit massive awareness in 2017. And so I don't even know what its market cap was prior to that. Its market cap was probably like 8 million or 5 million prior to going really big in 2017. So a lot of these altcoins haven't really reached public awareness yet. And there was a point that almost nobody knew who Cardano was in the crypto space, other than Charles Hoskinson had some brand name authority because he's one of the co-founding members of ETH. So some of these projects just nobody knows about them. Like Axie Infinity, there was a time that like all they had was their Axies and their land sale. They didn't have their token yet. The token was created after, what's their names? Animoca Brands came in, made like a $10 million investment in them, and then helped them put together some tokenomics and launch their token. They didn't even have a token. They didn't even have a market cap. They just had their land and their Axies. There was no market cap. And just nobody, when I talked about Axie Infinity, nobody in the crypto space knew what I was talking about. Didn't stop the land from doing 3,000x from where I bought it from. So just, you know, sometimes people get thrown off and be like, wait, how can it have so much potential and nobody sees it yet? Well, because the major crypto channels haven't started talking about them yet. So like it happens.
Agreed. Now that we have that, there are now 22.5 billion OMI on base. Why do you think the move there? There does seem to have been a push. I think part of the reason for the push is that base is kind of the new kid on the block. It's very hot. A lot of eyes on it. A lot of people are paying attention, and especially when you have something like Brett, you know, a meme coin that's on your chain, be in the top 100. It really only helps. I think the move here is to get as much eyes onto OMI as possible from base. But what do you guys think? What are some potential consequences of having all of this OMI being moved to base?
Well, like I think like I need to move my OMI to base. I want to move it to base. I hate ETH, and in fact, I actually was just telling a guy about Devi, and he's like, "Oh man, like I gotta buy some," and he's like kind of knows about crypto, right? Like he's got a trust wallet and some things, but he's like, bro, like I'm trying to buy just like $50 of Devi. You know, not like nothing crazy, but he's like, the gas fee is $36, you know? And I'm like, and that is why I hate Ethereum, right? Yeah. And so if I can bridge my OMI over to freaking base and just like whatever, if I ever do want to sell it or want to do anything with my freaking OMI, it's so much cheaper. I hate Ethereum. I hate it so bad. I lost so much money to gas fees last cycle buying stuff. Oh my gosh, just like pisses me off, right? So yeah, I think that people like, first of all, Stacker is making it easy. They've got an excellent bridge, and in fact, Crypto Cosmo made a tweet just recently where he was saying this dude's got a freaking ton of OMI, right? Is he up to 200 million or over 200 million now? I mean, he's in the 150 to 200 million OMI.
Let's go.
Yeah, he's not messing around, right? But yeah, like he said that the bridge with Stacker was super easy. So I got to do that. I haven't done it yet. But one of the great things is that my understanding is that they're working with Vivi to basically be able to bridge the OMI in your Vivi wallet right over to Stacker, and you'll still get all of the staking, you know, soft staking rewards and everything for doing that. But why I think that's important is if OMI starts to have a major presence on base chain, I actually think that that's very beneficial to like, I think it gets noticed by Coinbase, right? Like, now what that means, who knows, right? But like, will they have heard of the token if all of a sudden it's like OMI is like in the top 5 tokens of like market cap that are actually being held on base chain? I think that raises its awareness, you know, and then all of a sudden does Ecomi have, you know, a little bit of a foot in the door to be like, hey, we're one of your top 5 tokens, you know, and we'd like to get listed on your actual exchange as well. Yeah, like so. I think it's a move in the right direction for sure for for attention and visibility. And I think those are two massively important things for any crypto token.
I think part of the meme coin success is because of the overreach of the SEC. So like there's no substance behind meme coins, which is part of the reason it would be really hard to define them as a security, which is part of the reason why they get listed on Coinbase so fast if they get a bunch of traction, because Coinbase's risk of them being deemed a security is so low. So because the SEC is trying so hard to protect everyone, so they say, I don't believe them because their action aren't actually aligned with that. They're making it easy for meme coins, which have zero substance behind them, get listed, and for market caps on meme coins to pump so much that it gets everybody's dollars thrown at them, versus actually substantive things that are moving Web3 forward. And this is what happens, the economic loss that happens through the overreach of the government which is favored shit over non-shit. And so stuff that is, in my opinion, absolute shit or gambling gets favorable treatment because they're like, oh, it's not security, it's just raw shit. And it's like, yeah, so it can get listed on Coinbase right away because Coinbase doesn't take a risk. The legal risk of Coinbase to list it is very, very low, and yet the trading fees are real, so they'll list it. And then your substantive projects, like the more substantive they are, the greater risk that they get deemed as security, and therefore then might trigger an SEC lawsuit under the current SEC against them, which is absolutely ridiculous. The reign of Gary Gensler will go down in history as bad government ethics. And this is some of the things of it. And it's unfortunate. It's not like I don't get opportunities to invest in meme coins where I can make some money. And for some people, like they're willing to, and I don't know, like I invested in 2017, 2018, a little bit 2019 in meme coins, and they just massively underperformed the rest of my not the rest of it, the part of my portfolio that focused where I focus it now. And so we'll just see how that plays out. Meme coins too, it's like for every major success that we see, like Peanut and some of these other ones like Fartcoin and other things, if you're investing in early stage meme coins, the amount of rug pulls out there are ridiculous. And so people talk about the winners, but there's like thousands and tens of thousands of rug pulls and losers out there. So it is worse odds overall than the casino. If I were to play meme coins, and I won't, I would be investing in more established ones that have been around for a long time and haven't rug pulled, and just trying to time the meme coin narrative.
Great. Let's wrap it up for this week. What are any lasting thoughts, any lasting words until we reconvene next week?
Now, next week is Christmas.
Oh, shoot, is it?
Yeah, so I don't know that we're going to go live Wednesday.
I will not be going live.
I might go live. I might go and say hey for everyone to share a meal with everybody that has no one, and we'll all sit and eat together.
All right. You ping me, and maybe I'll jump on for a bit, say hi. I love Randy. He's one of my favorite people in this world. High sincerity, just so damn likable. Anyone who has a problem with Randy, I question that person's energy in their life. How can you not love this guy? He's incredible. So Randy, we love who you are.
Thanks, Bay. Love you guys too.
Yeah. Second that, Randy, super fun. And I was telling Rain, I think the first time, because we both met you in real life at the same time, right? At NFT.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, dude, this guy's just vibes is so real, just like you are you. And I love that. Super quirky. Your photos that you shared, the questions you asked Ben Rose, I just love it, man. Listen, this is what I want to say, right? So Ben made a comment here, and I love that. I love since My Collectibles came on, and Ben, they do such a great job of trying to. I think that they realize that influencers are very important in Web3, and just companies in general, but especially in Web3. I think they're realizing that, and I think that they're starting to realize the power that like this benefit that they have not utilized. And I think they're going to be doing that going forward. But like, I just got to shout out Ben Rose. I think that he has really turned around a lot of the negative sentiment that we've had recently. Like even a lot of like the fudders are like, yeah, actually like Ben's pretty awesome. You know, like they recognize that too. And man, he took Pags to task a little bit on. And I like Pags, but he speaks with this passion and he speaks with it in such a tone that like this is real, this is truth type thing. And you know, and he can believe that, right? But like it was great to be Ben is like, you're stating it as though it's truth, but like I just want everyone to realize that like that's just your opinion, you know, and here's another opinion with that. Like, oh dude, he just like handled business. I love that, right? And so this is what I'd say. Like, I really am bullish on 2025 with Vivi and Ikomi. And shout out to everyone who's here. And yeah, I think that there's a lot of great things to come. And we'll see. But I'm putting my money where my mouth is here. So,
yeah, I think that there's two scenarios. Two futures. One where Vivi and Omi is successful, and one where they aren't. I mean, I'm gonna buy the dip. I'm gonna get more. Obviously not financial advice. This is just what I'm doing. But Omi's down 14-15% for really no reason other than the rest of the market's bleeding. It's bleeding as well. I will buy the dip. I will get more. So that is what I'm doing. But obviously everyone to each their own. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Thank you all for joining. Bye-bye, Dashi. Bye-bye.